So we have a challenge here today, and that is how to plant tomatoes under the walnut tree. So walnut tree has substances that stunt the growth of many plants, including tomatoes. And what is interesting, it stunts the growth. It won't stunt the plant as it sprouts and just in the beginning, but it's actually even worse. You might think your plant is doing great, and then you see the leaves wilting, getting yellow and stuff. So this is because the compound they have is toxic to plants, and it's actually created strategically for the walnut tree to kill all the plants that live near it, because this is a very selfish tree in terms of it wants all the nutrients for itself. Okay, talking about tomatoes is one thing. Another thing is how you can adapt to this situation is to plant the plants that are actually resistant to the compound these guys have. So those could be beans or some kind of squashes. Many more. I think there are carrots as well. I don't have the entire list in my head, but you can easily search it up. And also some kind of other trees and shrubs and flowers. They all can survive here, but you need to know which ones are those. So the reason why we will plant, me and my friend, only resistant plants under the walnut tree here is because the soil is directly under the trees. As you can see, the leaves are already falling from the walnut here, and inside these leaves is also that compound that stunts the growth. This will be challenging for tomatoes part, but I will come to that soon, not right now. And what we need to do is plant resistant plants here. And for tomatoes there are actually several options. You can have a raised bed, not like this one, but really raised bed, so that it's very, very far away from the soil, and the roots of the walnut tree do not have a chance to get near it. I think the distance is around 20 millimeters or so. I'm not sure. Don't take me too seriously about this. Look it up. But still, what you need to do is raised bed, and also you need some kind of barrier between the ground and the soil that will be in the raised bed. I think some kind of I'm not sure how could you do that. Maybe some tough mulch or some other stuff that you could make it with, maybe cardboards that would dissolve later. So look it up and search it up. But for me, I will try to do something a tiny bit easier and more convenient for me, and those are simply the large pots. Here they are, and here are the tomatoes. So these are cherry tomatoes. They won't need a lot of soil. These will be deep enough, because for tomatoes depth is even more important than width of the soil. The roots go really deep, and the entire plant will be much more stable when the roots have a lot of space to go beneath. As you can see, I mean, obviously, of course, the pot has a barrier underneath, and the soil won't directly touch the soil where walnut roots are. So we are good on that part, but challenging part actually here is this thing. Even though it is not autumn, it is late spring, these trees are not the healthiest, and as you can see, they drop leaves. The substance is also in the leaves, and we need to make sure to minimize the possibility of these leaves dropping inside the pot. So what we can do, first of all, we will remove the pot when we plant everything as further away from the walnut tree as possible. Possibly leave it below this cherry tree, and maybe this one next to it. This is dead, whatever it was. We will scan the area a bit some more, and just to make sure that it is further away from these, let's say, bad guys as possible, and then they will be kind of safe. So yeah, those are very quick tips in a nutshell of how you're going to try. You can try to have tomatoes even if you have walnut trees in your garden. Will it fail? Will it not? I don't know. Don't hold my word for it, because I'm also just experimenting. I researched what needs to be done and I will do it. And I guess there is also preparation. Maybe there is also some kind of luck involved in everything. You know, how many leaves will end up in that pot and so on. So let's see. We'll try to do our best. So another day, another set of victories in the garden are upon us. Or maybe defeats, I'm not sure. I still have this to sort out. You see these large lumps of earth. I don't know if I will manage, but just when I started going here, there was a rain and I needed to come back. So I got out again. I am checking the squashes. So these are, I believe we planted courgettes here. And squashes are over there. They do not look too happy though. As I said, everything here is surrounded by the walnut trees. So we just picked the walnut resistant plants here. And yeah, so far nothing much is happening, but I did see, wait a minute, let me show you this. Here, there are few of the bean seeds that started sprouting. I will need to cover them with earth, so I'm not sure if we planted them too shallow or was it the rain just, you know, removing them a bit. But yeah, I will check those, sort this out, and now my favorite part. I need to come to check the tomato plants. So 2 cherry tomatoes, they're put over here. So we want them not to touch anything related to walnuts as much as possible. And that's why we have containers. They keep them away from the earth. So not to repeat myself again, but let's see what's happening. Okay, this looks nice. I was worried the shadow will be too dark here for tomato plants, but so far something is happening with these, obviously. Something is bothering them. Maybe some fungi or something. Let me just tell you right away, I don't know too much about all the diseases, different diseases plants can have. I am not a professional, far from it. I'm just a hobbyist. So if somebody knows better, tell me. I will look it up. But these things often happened with my tomatoes. They started yellowing somewhere near the start of the branches, the first leaves, and then it moves here. So I'd say it's a fungi maybe, some kind of bacteria or something. It progresses, you can track it, how it moves. Maybe this part was touching something that was contaminated. And again, you never know when you do buy them, what do they already have. See, this one's quite similar. It's like something coming from the soil and then starting to move upwards. I will remove this. Should be removed as far away as possible. And yeah, as I said, I really don't know. Oh, look at it. Hey, little guy. Oh, this made my day. Trust me. After the rough corporate work week, this really makes my serotonin happy. I mean, serotonin makes me happy, but you know what I wanted to say. Okay, so they're looking good so far. I don't see any fallen leaves from the walnut trees that should be removed. The soil is moist. I hope not too moist. Yet again, it's raining quite a lot these few days, so I cannot tell is the issue maybe with containers or with the type of soil, because I need to make sure they are not too damp, because the roots of course will start to rot. But I'll just keep a track on it and we'll see. Let me remove this one. I'll try to. It removes itself pretty much. It's so weak. I'll just take and sterilize some kind of knife or something to cut it off. And these parts as well. Okay, let's see. I will just be very quiet. Enjoy the day. You know, as soon as I got here, I heard many different kinds of birds. Some for the first time, with the help of an app, of course, because I cannot recognize really all of them. But you know, hearing and identifying and researching, it helps me to increase my knowledge. Now let's see. Look at this. This is interesting. There are apples already falling beneath the apple tree. Now, I am not an expert, but I think it's a bit too early for apples to fall down. Maybe it's an early sort, or maybe the tree is just weak and sick for some reason. Maybe being near the walnut does not help, or maybe there's other things. Yeah, some kind of bird flew over. I didn't manage to catch. I think it was just common blackbird. Apparently there is also a woodpecker around here. It's interesting. Okay, here's the apple. Obviously. We all know that, don't we? It's quite unripe yet. It's so small. So this is domestic apple. I think something is wrong with it, since it's releasing fruits like this, dropping them. But you can see the best signs of pesticides or anything not being used is them having worms and not being perfect. I will take a few of them. Maybe there is just something that I could make from them. I'm not sure. I will have to research it. But I will research it, and that will be it. Yeah, but very hard to find an apple without a worm inside. This wasn't like this the last time I was here, so the dropping of fruits here happened within the last 5 to 7 days, I would say. Not earlier. Oh, and since the last time we had these left by accident, so now it's soaked. These are black beans seeds. I will dry them up or check, maybe somebody sprout in there. Who knows? Sprouted. It's possible. Yeah, beautiful day. I have a water over there, but you know, I don't think I will need it. I don't think I will need to water anything because the forecast is so filled with rain. Maybe I won't have to water anything for an entire year. Who knows? The climate is a bit weird. Okay, let's start digging. So I'm making a brief break with some beer and some sandwiches. I must say I am not the smartest person in the world. That is one of the reasons why this is not educational, but just like hobby thing. I didn't bring any water with me, but I did brought one beer. So, saying a lot about me. As I was sitting here eating a sandwich, I felt like I was just taking a break and eating a sandwich before proceeding to dig my own grave. It's funny to an extent. And also, nature didn't take long to find the pieces of the sandwich, and you know, suddenly I see just tiny pieces of it walking in the grass. Of course, ants carrying them. It's funny when you think about it, everything is about survival. Every little thing we do, even the most basic ones and not obvious ones like eating and drinking, but every little thing is about survival. And yeah, mosquitoes are now biting me through this. Apparently, I maybe already talked about it, but I do have a gene that is guilty of attracting mosquitoes out of, let's say, average, above average. So that means that if I'm in the room with the 10 people and the mosquitoes come in, I will have 100 bites and other people maybe have a few or none. Basically, that is what happened when I was in Greece in high school many years ago. Cheers. It's a nice thing to relax, to drink. I really want to call everybody to try something like this. It is not for everyone, let's be honest. We all have different personalities. We love other stuff. But if you're slow-paced like me and love nature and need some physical activity, otherwise you start to get a bit crazy, this is the perfect thing. There is no muscle in your body that you do not use when you are digging earth, trust me. My pain during the night knows that. Where is that apple I got? Oh, here it is. Huh. I'm sure it is quite sour, but okay. After the break, I'm taking the other tool and we'll continue to make these lumps smaller and smaller, and then I will put the same fence like we have over there. It will be fun. Now I'm going to enjoy the few minutes and that's pretty much it. Okay, now it's time for some looking around. You know, my favorite sport, sitting, being silent and just watching what happens underground. Thankfully, I am a patient person, so it really goes well with me. So here we have something. This is most likely common vetch. So common vetch is, well, like the name says, quite common, and that's about it. Just joking. It is quite an interesting plant, really. You never think too much about it, but when you are looking closely at it, you see these, let's call them antennas. Here they are. If you've been gardening at all, then you will know it reminds you of the legumes. So legumes do have these things to crawl on most of the time. Most of the beans, lentils and stuff. And it is not unusual because this is part of the legume family. The research is not yet conclusive, but it is said it's mostly found, the greatest diversity of it is found in the Fertile Crescent. So the guess is it started over there, the cultivation, consummation of it. It was found in many Neolithic sites, Bronze Age sites, is used in diets in Turkey, Bulgaria, Slovakia, and a lot other countries. You can eat the seeds, but they contain cyanide, so you better cook them for at least 2 hours before they are safe. But the seeds are really not that giant, so I don't think it really gives much, to be honest. But it is used in livestock as a livestock feed. It is also used in crop rotation because it enriches the soil with nitrogen, just like the beans and other similar sorts. So there's the usefulness right there. Feeding the livestock and crop rotation. I guess those are the 2 main uses today. I'm not sure, but I guess so. And here there is something dead, so look away if you are not comfortable with these things. My guess is this is a slowworm. I don't know what happened to it, but there is just a piece of it. Slowworms are actually lizards, they are not snakes. Unfortunately, this one did not live long. Also, might be some other thing or smaller snake, I'm not sure, but my guess would be on the slowworm. I think ants already ate pretty much of it. I could see its spine inside. The flies, though, the flies seem to be feasting still. I'll just leave it there and let the nature do its thing. So I'm happy to see the sunshine is getting to my tomatoes in containers, slowly but surely. Sometimes too much sunshine is bad for them, even though they are sun-loving plant. So I think they will live. I'm happy to see the fruits already. I just hope the walnut or something else will not kill it before it ripens and it's ready to eat. A lot more of them I need to buy. I need to get the new containers. I need to get the earth. It's a lot of work, but it's a good kind of work. And that's pretty much it. Nothing really special. Very, very slow even for my standards. But what can I say? You work out a bit, you learn something new, you take a moment to rest, to look around, and after the weekend you are good as new. At least that is how it works for me. Until next time, I wish you all the best. So I finished almost with this one. It needs maybe just a few more passes, and then the, let's call it, fence will come soon. Cheers.